Have you ever felt darkness seeping into every cell of your body as invisible hands grip your throat, making your heart pound in agony? Get ready, because you're about to confront entities without boundaries. Shadows come to life, whispers turn into sinister threats, and fear becomes your constant companion. Forget about sleep and peace. We're opening the doors to a world where night not only hides, but hunts your deepest fears. Turn up the volume, get comfortable, and prepare to be shaken to your core.
The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm glow over the excavation site as Alex stood at the mouth of the ancient city. The excitement was palpable among the team. As the lead archaeologist, Alex had dedicated years to studying the history of this long-forgotten civilization. The discovery of underground tunnels promised to reveal secrets that had lain buried for centuries. The team gathered tools and equipment, their laughter mingling with the sound of shovels striking earth. The excavation site was a tapestry of history, woven with crumbling stone structures and fragments of pottery. Dust danced in the golden light as the team worked diligently, their ordinary routines bringing a sense of normalcy to the extraordinary surroundings. Each day brought new discoveries, and with them, a growing anticipation of what lay beneath the surface. Yet beneath the excitement, an unsettling atmosphere lingered. On occasion, a sudden chill would sweep through the air, causing the hairs on Alex's arms to stand on end. The team would pause momentarily, exchanging puzzled glances, but they quickly dismissed these occurrences as mere fluctuations in temperature. Echoes of their voices often bounced back to them in a peculiar way, leaving an unsettling feeling in the pit of their stomachs. As they gathered around the entrance to the tunnels, they were unaware of the darkness that awaited them. The shadows seemed to stretch longer as they prepared to descend, yet the thrill of discovery pushed away any lingering doubts. Alex led the way, heart racing with anticipation, oblivious to the lurking horrors that would soon awaken within the depths of the labyrinth they were about to uncover. The team stood at the threshold of the tunnels, an air of trepidation settling over them as they prepared for the descent. Flashlights flickered to life, their beams cutting through the oppressive darkness. Alex distributed gear, checking harnesses, and ensuring that each member was equipped with a flashlight, extra batteries, and a first aid kit. The tunnels loomed ominously, their yawning mouths inviting, yet foreboding. As they stepped into the narrow passage, a feeling of claustrophobia enveloped them. The walls, slick with moisture, seemed to close in around them. Ancient symbols etched into the stone glimmered faintly, their meanings lost to time, yet resonating with an unsettling energy. The team moved cautiously, the sound of their footsteps echoing against the cold stone, amplifying the silence that surrounded them. With each step deeper into the labyrinth, the atmosphere thickened. A chill crept through the air, and an inexplicable unease settled in the pit of Alex's stomach. Shadows danced at the edges of their flashlights, shapes that seemed to flicker and vanish when they turned to look. It was disorienting, the way the darkness played tricks on their minds. Suddenly, Alex's flashlight sputtered, a brief flicker that sent a jolt of panic through the group. Just a malfunction, someone muttered, but the forced calm did little to ease the tension. The air grew heavier, laden with an unnameable dread. As they pressed on, whispers echoed around them, soft and indistinct, like the remnants of forgotten conversations. The team exchanged nervous glances, each member grappling with their own fears. A sense of vulnerability gnawed at Alex, amplifying the growing disquiet. Just then, one of the team members paused, staring into the shadows. "Did you see that?" they asked, their voice barely a whisper. Alex felt the weight of their gaze, a silent acknowledgement of the unease that had begun to simmer beneath the surface. The descent had only just begun, yet it already felt as though they were venturing into the heart of a waking nightmare. As the team delved deeper into the tunnels, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. A sense of impending doom clung to the air, each step echoing ominously in the confined space. The walls began to reveal their secrets. Ancient traps lay hidden in the shadows. Sharp blades protruded from the stone, remnants of a time when the tunnels served as a prison for unspeakable horrors. The discovery of these mechanisms sent a collective shiver through the group, their laughter now replaced by hushed tones of fear. Suddenly, a scream shattered the silence. One of the team members, drawn by a grotesque figure lurking in the darkness, had triggered a trap. The sound of flesh meeting steel reverberated through the corridors, leaving an eerie stillness in its wake. Panic erupted as they rushed to the scene, only to find their companion's lifeless body sprawled on the ground. The stark reality of their situation hit them like a cold wave. They were not merely explorers, they were intruders in a realm where danger lurked at every turn. The walls seemed to close in tighter with the loss. Paranoia crept into their minds as they pressed forward. Glimpses of grotesque creatures flitted through the shadows, twisted forms with hollow eyes and gaping maws, remnants of the malevolent entities once imprisoned in these tunnels. The remnants of past violence were evident in the bloodstains and scrawls etched into the stone. Ancient texts, discovered in a small alcove, hinted at sacrificial rituals and dark rites performed to maintain control over the entities they had unwittingly awakened. As the team trudged deeper, the psychological toll mounted. Whispers filled their minds, instilling a sense of dread that festered like an open wound. Each member began to question their own sanity, wrestling with the haunting shadows and the growing realization that they were not alone. Trust eroded as suspicions blossomed, and desperate attempts to rationalize the horrors spiraled into a collective madness. The tunnels transformed into a nightmarish labyrinth, a prison of their own making. Each artifact they unearthed was a reminder of the darkness that lay ahead. The journey had morphed into a struggle for survival, as the horrors unveiled beckoned them further into the abyss. As the team pressed deeper into the labyrinthine tunnels, a palpable change enveloped them. The air thickened with an oppressive weight, a suffocating presence that gnawed at their senses. It was not just the physical darkness that began to close in. Something sinister lurked just beyond the flickering beams of their flashlights. The entity, long imprisoned, stirred in the shadows, its awakening marked by a series of unsettling occurrences. At first, its influence was subtle. Unexplainable cold spots drifted through the tunnels, chilling the air and raising goosebumps on their skin. Flickers of movement at the edges of their vision teased them. Alex noticed the way shadows seemed to stretch unnaturally, forming grotesque shapes that vanished when confronted. The team began to experience disorientation, whispers echoing in their minds, sowing seeds of doubt and fear. Then came the separation. One by one, the team members were drawn into the depths of the tunnels, compelled by an unseen force. Alex called out, attempting to rally them, but each voice seemed to fade into the darkness. The entity fed off their fear and confusion, its power growing stronger as it manipulated their perceptions. Vivid manifestations began to materialize around them. The walls pulsated with a life of their own, ancient runes glowing ominously, depicting scenes of torment and despair. The air vibrated with an unsettling energy, and the very stones seemed to sigh with the weight of their suffering. Alex felt the pressure to maintain unity among the group intensify as panic set in. Each member was a thread in a fragile tapestry, and the entity sought to unravel them. In a moment of clarity, Alex glimpsed the truth of the tunnel's purpose. They were not merely catacombs, they were a prison designed to contain the malevolent entity, a dark force intent on reclaiming its dominion. The realization ignited a spark of determination within Alex. Holding on to the hope of escape, they fought against the psychological grip of the entity, striving to keep the team together amidst the disarray. Yet the entity was relentless. It preyed upon their vulnerabilities, whispering seductive lies that sowed discord. As fear morphed into paranoia, the team members began to turn on one another. each haunted by their own visions, twisted reflections of their deepest fears. Alex could feel the threads of loyalty fraying, the darkness encroaching, but they refused to succumb. The struggle was not just for survival, it was a desperate fight against the very embodiment of their worst nightmares. The heart of the tunnels pulsed with an unnatural energy as Alex descended into the abyss. The flickering lights cast erratic shadows on the walls, distorting reality. Each step felt like a descent into madness, the air thick with dread. The whispers grew louder, an insidious chorus that clawed at Alex's sanity. Ahead, a faint glow beckoned, an ominous invitation that sent shivers down their spine. In the chamber's center stood the entity, its form shifting and coiling, an amalgamation of darkness and despair. Alex's heart raced, the overwhelming odds pressing down like a vice. The walls seemed to close in, and the ground trembled beneath their feet. The creature emanated a palpable aura of malevolence, its eyes like voids that swallowed light. This was not merely a confrontation, it was a reckoning with the embodiment of fear itself. Alex gripped their flashlight, the beam trembling as they stepped forward, challenging the darkness. "I know what you are," they shouted, their voice echoing through the chamber. "You are a prisoner of your own making." The entity responded with a cacophony of anguished screams, a sound that reverberated through Alex's bones. Memories of the fallen team members flashed before their eyes, fueling a fire of determination within. As the entity lunged, Alex dodged, adrenaline surging. The creature's claws scraped the stone, sending sparks flying. Each swipe was a reminder of the stakes, each miss a fleeting chance for survival. The battle was not just physical, it was a war of wills, a desperate fight against the creeping despair that threatened to engulf Alex. The air thickened as Alex recalled the ancient texts, the rituals that imprisoned this darkness. They had to confront not just the entity, but the fear it embodied. In a moment of clarity, Alex shouted the incantations, words that resonated with power, channeling the energy of the ancient city into their voice. The entity writhed, shrieking in rage, but the darkness fought back, clawing at Alex's mind, conjuring visions of failure, loss, and hopelessness. Each whisper was a dagger, seeking to plant seeds of doubt. "You cannot win," it hissed, the voice echoing in the recesses of Alex's mind. Yet with every ounce of strength, Alex pressed on, defying the overwhelming despair. In the chaos, a realization struck. The entity was not only a creature of darkness, but a reflection of their own fears. The struggle was not just against it, but within themselves. With renewed determination, Alex faced the entity head-on, the light of their flashlight piercing through the shadows, illuminating the truth. As the confrontation reached its peak, the air crackled with energy, a battle not only for survival, but for the very essence of hope itself. Alex was on the brink, teetering between sanity and madness, yet they fought with every fiber of their being, determined to reclaim the light from the heart of darkness. The echoes of the battle still rang in Alex's ears as they turned to flee, the oppressive weight of the entity's presence lingering in the air. The labyrinth had transformed, twisting and shifting as if the walls themselves conspired to trap them. Each step felt heavier, the darkness closing in like a vice. Shadows danced around them, taunting. The path back was fraught with the consequences of their earlier choices. Alex's heart raced as they navigated the treacherous turns of the tunnels, the memories of fallen comrades flashing before their eyes. The weight of their loss hung heavily on their shoulders, each corridor a reminder of the price paid for their curiosity. Desperate gasps echoed behind them, the remaining team members trailing, their faces pale with terror. A glimmer of hope flickered as they neared a familiar junction, the path leading to the surface within reach. But just as they thought escape was assured, the ground trembled violently. A low growl resonated from the shadows, the entity manifesting once more, its form shifting and writhing, intent on reclaiming its dominion. Alex's breath quickened, panic clawing at their throat. "Run!" they shouted, urging the others forward. But the fear had rooted deep, fracturing their resolve. One team member hesitated, their eyes wide with terror, drawn into the entity's hypnotic gaze. Alex grappled with the choice to save themselves or risk everything to pull their friend back from the brink. In that moment, the creature lunged, its claws slicing through the air. Alex made a split-second decision, racing back to grab the trembling member, pulling them away just as the entity's grasp fell short. The act of defiance ignited a spark of strength within the group, uniting them against the encroaching horror. With renewed determination, they surged forward, the passageway narrowing ominously. The air crackled with tension as the entity roared in fury, its voice a haunting reminder of the darkness they fled. The tunnel's walls seemed to pulse, a living entity trying to reclaim its prey. Finally, they burst through the entrance into the blinding light of the surface world, the golden sun a stark contrast to the shadows they left behind. But as they stumbled into the daylight, the price of their escape became clear. The emotional toll weighed heavily on them, the loss etched into their souls. Though they had escaped the abyss, the darkness would forever linger in their memories, a haunting reminder of the horrors faced and the sacrifices made. Alex knew that they had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death, but the victory was Pyrrhic. The echoes of the dungeon would continue to haunt them, a testament to the nightmares that lay beneath. Time passed, yet the darkness clung to Alex like a second skin. The world outside the tunnels felt alien, vibrant colors and cheerful sounds contrasting sharply with the oppressive silence of the subterranean horrors. Each day was a battle against the memories that replayed in vivid detail. The screams, the shadows, the faces of those lost forever etched in Alex's mind. In the quiet moments, Alex found solace in routine, attempting to blend back into a life that once seemed mundane. They resumed lectures, sharing tales of ancient civilizations and forgotten histories. But the light in their eyes had dimmed, replaced by a distant gaze that spoke of unspoken fears. Colleagues noticed the change, whispers of concern floating through the halls, yet Alex smiled and waved it away, burying the truth beneath layers of forced normalcy. Unexplained occurrences began to seep into their life. Shadows flickered just beyond their peripheral vision, and whispers haunted their dreams, a cacophony of voices urging them to remember. At night, the air in their apartment turned cold, a chill that settled deep in their bones despite the summer heat. Once familiar spaces felt suffocating, the walls seeming to close in, echoing with the memories of the tunnels. Days turned into weeks, but the unease only deepened. Alex found themselves drawn to the history books, searching for answers that remained elusive. The entity they had faced, the darkness they had narrowly escaped, seemed to seep into the cracks of their reality. Strange symbols began to appear in their dreams, ancient scripts that whispered secrets of power and despair. And then one night, as the clock struck midnight, a knock echoed through the stillness of their apartment. The sound shattered the fragile peace, reverberating with a sense of dread. Hesitation gripped Alex as they approached the door. Shadows danced at the edges of their vision, the air thickening with an unnameable presence. Opening the door revealed nothing but darkness, an empty hallway stretching before them. Yet as they stepped back, a flicker of movement caught their eye, a figure slipping into the shadows, a familiar silhouette that sent a shiver down their spine. The entity had not been vanquished, it had merely bided its time, waiting for the moment to reclaim its influence. Alex closed the door, heart racing, the weight of the past crashing down. The nightmare was far from over, and as they sank to the floor, the shadows whispered promises of darkness yet to come.